Welcome back to the series where I break down each team's schedule. Give me my thoughts on the weekly matchups, and more importantly, the overall record for the 2023 season. We are wrapping up the AFC East with the New England Patriots. We already did the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. That leaves the Patriots with the final team left. To kind of quickly sum up this season for the Patriots, I don't see them competitive really. If you're comparing them to the rest of the AFC East, I just think they severely lack elite talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball when the NFL is very offensive minded. So jumping into the schedule, week 1, season opener, home opener. More importantly, it's the ceremony to honor Tom Brady against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's kind of hoping they were to get a better team to kind of honor him against, because I have the Eagles blowing out the Patriots. I'm sorry. They are just too stacked on offense. I think especially with far superior talent. If you look at A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, still have a great offensive line. Dallas Goedert, pretty good. I think overall solid running back group. Swift, if you can stay healthy. Penny, Gainwell, and more importantly, you have just Jalen Hurts. Doesn't stack up too well to Mac Jones. His number one wide receiver is Juju Smith-Schuster. I do like Ramon Stevenson. He's a very underrated running back. But outside of that, you don't have too much. I mean, you have Gesicki, who they also brought in. Still have Hunter Henry. So not horrible, but it definitely doesn't stack up to what the division is and what a lot of other great teams are. Defense, I know they had plenty of free agents in this offseason of 22. They were able to keep important ones. Obviously, we weren't able to keep all of them, but definitely really rebuilt back from the draft, really, for them. Especially the first round with Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. Also added a corner from Georgia as well later in the 4th round. But overall, I think they did a really great job mending the tough obstacle of the 22 free agents. And I still think they'll have a great defense, no doubt. Not the historic top 3 all-time in sacks like it did last year. They had over 70, but it'll definitely be great. People also come to question of the strength of schedule last year. Pretty easy, especially in the playoffs when you had a Daniel Jones Giants and a 49ers team that didn't have Brock Purdy and was down to their 4th quarterback, Josh Johnson. Even then, when he got hurt, Brock Purdy came in and really controlled the football. So essentially, you played a team without a quarterback. But this one, it should be pretty easy for them to beat the Patriots, starting 0-1. We shift to the Dolphins, once again, at the first divisional game of the year, another home game. Once again, I just don't know if Bill Belichick can handle the speed on the offense, specifically Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I'm sorry. And Tua also has a great record against the Patriots. Defense is good enough. The big piece, no doubt, they added in the offseason defensively was Jalen Ramsey. Also won the drafting, added Cam Smith in the 2nd round for depth, for now at least. Bradley Chubb, they were able to lock him in last season, gave him a 5-year deal after they made a trade for him. So they put all the chips on the table. They're really pushing to go all in, because very soon they're not going to have the money to keep all these guys, especially with Waddle and a few other people coming up for contracts. More importantly, Tua, if he has a great year this year. It's going to be very concerning of what they're going to be able to do. But for looking for right now, sticking in for present times, they have a much better team. Defensively, if you want to say the Patriots have a better defense than Miami, no one questions that. Offensively, the only question mark I have is maybe the offensive line. I think they should have done a much better job in reinsuring that for Tua, seeing that he almost retired because of concussions, about taking hits. I think that's a big concern. But even if you put that in perspective, the Dolphins are a much better team than the Patriots. I'm sorry, they are on paper, especially offensively. So now we move to week 3. If you look at the Patriots' perspective, this is Aaron Rodgers' debut as a Jet. This will be a much closer game than compared to the first 2 weeks. I think Bill Belichick will really lock down after starting 0-2 and really get this team back into a right direction. You can also, take advantage of the situation for the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers with him being a new environment. As you saw his first year at Matt LaFleur, struggled a little bit. Last year with the new receiving core, struggled a little bit. So you could definitely take full advantage of this and maybe steal a win here. But I have the Patriots losing to the Jets. To me, the Jets have a better defense and much better offensive talent around Aaron Rodgers. And basically, if we want to come down to it, they have the better player at the most important position at quarterback. So starting off 0-3, not a great start, especially if you're a Patriots fan. You're starting to be very concerned. Two of the first 3 games are divisional games. 0-2 right off the bat, not a good sign. Now we move to week 4 for the Dallas Cowboys. I have the Patriots winning this one. I think it's only going to get to a certain point where if they're on this losing skid, it's going to end. Belichick is going to put his foot down. He's going to really push his team to be much better than they have the first 3 weeks, and I think they'll take full advantage of that against the Cowboys. I kind of question the offensive side a little bit with the offensive line. I think they really should have, like the Dolphins, they should have addressed that, especially losing Connor, the guard, going to the Bills, along with, you're not sure with Smith and Martin getting up there in age, as well as their injury concerns. You really need to put that priority to kind of get back to what it was in 2016 when they had an amazing offensive line. They were able to run the football. The other plus is that Ezekiel Elliott's no longer there, not stealing carries from Tony Pollard. So definitely a home run hitter. And Pollard, definitely very explosive. You still have to worry about CeeDee Lamb. Outside of that, not too crazy with the wide receiving core. But this is definitely a defense I think that can take advantage of a little bit of the weak spots in the offense. Last time they faced each other was in Mac Jones' rookie year, where it went into overtime in Foxborough. Cowboys ultimately won that with CeeDee Lamb catching the game-winning touchdown. But I can see us going the opposite direction and the Patriots getting this one, stealing a game at Dallas. Probably, if you look at it, at least for now, an upside at least. I'm sure Dallas, if you look right now, will probably be the favorites over the Patriots, but I do have the Patriots stealing a win right there. So 1-3, ending the skid. Now we go to week 5 to the Saints. For this one, I have the Patriots winning as well. Getting momentum from the Dallas game. Guess there's a huge boost in confidence. And similar to, once again, what I said for the Aaron Rodgers. New situation, new environment. For the offensive group, I like the group on paper. Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill will be spread in there, here and there. For me, I'm not a huge fan of the head coach. I don't think he's that great. I think ultimately they will be finding a head coach probably after this year, how the season goes. Defense is still good, no doubt. I have great pieces on that side of the football, but ultimately I think my concern for the Saints is Derek Carr with his play, especially last year when he looked very shoddy at times. Perfect example, looking to when he faced the Saints. I'm pretty sure when the Raiders faced the Saints, they didn't pass the 50-yard line until like the fourth quarter. I think it was just it's games like that. And I think also it's the Devontae Adams game where he only had one catch or something like that. It's just there's games, and also not just last year, but games in the past. Not putting the whole blame on him for the failure for the Raiders at times, but definitely has played very inconsistently in moments. And I think this is a game where Belichick can take full advantage of that and get a win at home against the Saints. So from 0-3, you're 2-3. Now moving on to the Raiders. The streak continues. I have the Raiders losing to the Patriots. So basically boiling down to Belichick knowing the head coach and Josh McDaniels and knowing the quarterback and Jimmy Garoppolo. He knows the weaknesses. I think they're both overrated to a point, more so heavily overrated to Josh McDaniels. Tom Brady made McDaniels the great offensive mind that he is. Jimmy Garoppolo, I will give him credit. He even if you put the pieces around him, you still have to make the plays and the right decisions to lead your team far. Give him that. He's gone to Super Bowl, 2 NFC championships. You have to give him that. Sadly, he got hurt last year, which gave the opportunity to Brock Purdy. For this one, that's also a concern that needs to be put out there too, is the injury problem for Garoppolo, but just simply honing in on McDaniels and Garoppolo, I think is the biggest reasons that the Patriots will win this one. Bill Belichick knows those two very well. Defensively for the Raiders, I still think they need a few more pieces to really, for me to start saying, okay, now they got something going. Offensively, I mean, outside of Garoppolo, the two biggest ones, I should say, is Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams. Josh Jacobs, he's probably not going to repeat last year with the rushing title. He has breakout year last year. Really just took the NFL by storm. And I did not see him at all doing what he did last year. He's probably not going to replicate that this year. Devontae Adams, still one of the best wide receivers in the league. Though with Garoppolo, he might not be as dominant as he was. So right off the bat, 0-3, you're back in contention. 3-3, amazing start, amazing momentum. You're back at home against the Bills. This is a big moment for the Patriots. You can go home, 3-game winning streak, stealing a win at Dallas. If you want to say they steal a win against the Raiders, depending on how you feel for the odds. I don't know what the favorites are for the Raiders and Saints in those games. But regardless, on a 3-game winning streak, riding high against the Bills, who I think are going to struggle a little bit because they just want to retool the offense, especially for trying to implement 2 tight end set and trying to get the running game going. But it's going to fall short. I have the Bills winning this one. I think it will be a close game. Belichick is going to do his best, especially on defensively, to really keep Josh Allen and the offense in check. But it's going to go back to the offensive side of the ball for the Patriots. They just don't have enough talent. I think they go head to head. Could they steal a game from one of these teams in the division? Absolutely. But on paper, as of right now, looking at it, I don't see that. I'm sorry, I don't. I know the Patriots at times have given the Bills troubles, but ultimately, like I said, I think Allen will find a way to pull this one out as opposed to Mac Jones. I think ultimately, even if you are a Patriots fan, you could probably acknowledge that you would much rather have Josh Allen than Mac Jones and trust Allen more than Mac Jones in crucial moments. So I'm going to give the Bills a win right there. Now we're moving on to the Patriots, wrapping up the series pretty quickly. If you go back, this is week 7. Or no, week 8, my bad. Wait, hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, week 8, my bad. So I try to count way too fast. So now again, wrapping up the series pretty quickly with Miami, getting it out of the way early on in the season. They are away. Are they going to get revenge from week 2? Like I said, as the Dolphins, I think will win pretty easily against the Patriots in week 2. I have the same streak going for the losing streak. I have the Dolphins winning this one, sweeping the Patriots, going 2-0 against them. Once again, I don't want to just keep sounding like I'm a broken record over and over again. It's the same reasons. I'm sorry, they just far superior talent, especially being away at Miami with the weather that at times it has shown to bother teams with the high humidity or high temp, whatever. It has shown to bother some teams, and I think they'll definitely take some effect on them. For this one, Dolphins win this, like I said, sweep the series. So now at this point, you are very concerned as a Patriots fan because you are 0-4 in the division, which probably, if not later on in the season, this probably close to solidifies that you're not going to win the division because you are just you needed to at least at worst case scenario split 2-2 at this point to stay somewhat competitive in the first spot in the division. Going 0-4, I think that solidifies that. That's a dream. That's a pipe dream. You're not going to win. You're not going to be number 1. Focus on more with the 3 wildcard spots. Just focus on trying to just get by and just get to win that. And this is where the winning streak, kind of kicks back in. For the Commanders, I have the Patriots winning this one. Looking at Sam Howell, who even though he's in his second year, he's basically a rookie. Even though he's, of course, he sat out for most of the year. He played the last game of the year against the Cowboys. This year, of course, he has he'll have training camp and everything under him, and also a few games in hand as well if he makes it that far because they also signed Jacoby Brissett. So it's not going to guarantee he's going to make it that far depending on how bad he plays. But regardless, if we're just sticking with Sam Howell as a starter, I think Belichick will take full advantage of that. Being an experienced quarterback, he'll throw a bunch of trickery on the defense and really mess with them. The only thing that helps in Washington their favor is also they have a great defense as well. Biggest concern with Chase Young, we don't know what's going to happen with him, how he's going to perform this year. But regardless, they do have a great defense, no doubt. I think Christian Gonzalez, this is definitely going to be a tough matchup for Christian Gonzalez against McLaurin. I think, again, a very underrated wide receiver, in my opinion. I know people call him a great receiver, but I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves in this one. And also for Gonzalez, if I just want to make a quick note, it's a tough rookie year for him going against Bills, looking at quickly Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, or Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins, Devontae Adams maybe for the Raiders. Going back to week 1 with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, it's going to be pretty challenging for, I think, it's at times, at least for a rookie, pretty, if you want to say maybe to a certain degree unfair, it's going to be pretty challenging. It doesn't stop with McLaurin. If you want to say maybe Dotson or Curtis Samuel, who knows how it's going to line up if Gonzalez can be the number 1 corner. But it's definitely going to be a very, I think, rough rookie season for him. And that's a part of the reason why I'm a little bit low on the Patriots as well. As yes, I do believe it was an amazing steal to get Gonzalez, but I think it's just too much elite wide receivers in a short period of time, very fast like that. I think it's very, if it was a little bit even up more, of course, a little bit spaced a little bit more, he could slowly develop into that. But I think off the bat, very rough schedule as a wide receiver, for wide receivers against Gonzalez. But regardless, sorry, I kind of got a little off topic with that. I don't know where I was really going with it, but regardless, to sum it up, I have the Washington losing to the Patriots. Just my biggest concern with Sam Howell. Now we go to the Germany game, going to Europe, facing the Colts. Same way too. Belichick has a great record with going against rookie quarterbacks. We don't know what's going to happen with Anthony Richardson. I think, of course, he has amazing talent, the physical tools, but I think he might have a similar year to Josh Allen in his rookie year, where he's gonna have his ups and downs. He's gonna struggle a little bit, especially with the accuracy that he's shown in college, where he threw, I think last year, 54% in his last year at Florida. And I think it'll really show that in this game. Belichick will take full advantage of that. And going into the bye week, feel pretty good a little bit. Probably not the record that you wanted, but going to the bye week, you are 5-5. Not horrible, but also you're kind of hoping you would maybe have a little bit more, maybe up to at least 6-7 wins at this point. But I think 5 isn't too bad with the schedule, and also my biggest concern offensively for the Patriots. So after the bye week, we go to the Giants. This is a game where I could definitely see them stealing this one, especially with Belichick having a bye week off, having extra time to really study Brian Daboll and the offense, maybe take advantage of Daniel Jones, maybe kind of tap back into the early Mac Jones turnover prones, fumbles, interceptions. But I think Brian Daboll, his creative genius, will find ways to get around Belichick's defense. And I think this is going to be a really tough game. I want to say, I know I'm probably making it sound like it's going to be easy, but this is going to be a very tough game. This might go down to the final possession of the game, because I think they're that even. Especially it's basically Belichick's defense, Brian Daboll's offense. Who's the more creative coach? Who's going to come up with more creative schemes to, get said team off guard? But I think ultimately Brian Daboll will do that. You look in the past, what the great success he had with Josh Allen, developing him last year of Daniel Jones. I know the stats don't pop off too much. If you look at it, it looks pretty mediocre. Daniel Jones' season last year, stat-wise. But regardless, he got in the playoffs. He won a playoff game, stunning the Vikings. And I think more importantly, too, the thing we might be forgetting, too, with Darren Waller, the big addition with that, if he's still healthy during at this point in the season, with, of course, injury concerns with him. But if healthy, no doubt one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and will be a massive help to Daniel Jones. I have the Giants winning this one. Next, moving to the Chargers. I have the Chargers winning against the Patriots. At this point, they'll probably be out with, at the very least, one wide receiver. I had to guess probably Keenan Allen, just because he's just very injury prone. Him and Mike Williams, they just can't stay on the field. And, I mean, they also had probably the biggest reason why they got a wide receiver in the first round with Quentin Johnston. Similar build, tall, fast. You look at other pieces too. Austin Eckler, no doubt, a very underrated running back, especially last year in the touchdown area where he had, I think, over 13 touchdowns the last 2 years. Very centered around him. Very, definitely heavy driven on him. Not sure if the contract is going to play a role into how, if he might sit out or not. I don't know. I presume he'll play the year. But at this point, just looking at him, definitely a huge piece to that puzzle on that offense to help Justin Herbert out. And I think Herbert will just find a way to beat the Patriots. I'm sorry. If you're looking at quarterback matchup, he's far better than Mac Jones. And if you look at the schedule and as an entirety, there's very few games where Mac Jones is going to the game being the better quarterback. Obviously, Washington, Colts, and that's pretty much it, honestly. Like I guess you could somewhat make an argument for Daniel Jones, but at least offhand looking at it, it's only 2 games this year. So that's the big downside for the Patriots as well going into this season. Moving on to the Steelers, I could definitely see a game where the Patriots can knock off the Steelers, but I have the Steelers winning this one. I'm very high on Kenny Pickett. A lot of people are down on him. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback, as you see in the bottom right screen. Just noticed that now. Pickett, 0-17. But regardless, again, I see a lot of posts of asking, how's he going to be in his second year? A lot of people think he's going to fall out, he's going to be bad, or asking, like, true or false. Is he going to have a great year this upcoming season? A lot of people say false. I don't get the hate. I know early on he struggled a lot with interceptions, but towards the end he really started to clean it up. It seemed like he got a lot more comfortable playing. More confidence, no doubt. And I think the last 2 games he had back-to-back game-winning drives. So I think he really showed that he's starting to figure it out in the NFL. No doubt, I think he'll take a huge step forward going into his second year. Some people say the biggest steal in the draft in general, Washington, tight end from Georgia. Got him in the 3rd, 4th round, I believe. So that's definitely could be a heavy weapon that could be a big factor or an X factor maybe in this year's offense. Pickens, we already know Pickens definitely showed flashes of dominance. They still have Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth. Kevin Austin will be returning to the team after being injured last year. Not sure how it'll be at this point, but a pretty solid offensive group for Kenny Pickett. And I think this is going to be enough to beat the Patriots. Now I mentioned the defense for the Steelers. Great defense. TJ Watt, Mika Fitzpatrick, Casey Hayward. They have the pieces to really go out there and compete with anybody. And I think with Kenny Pickett taking a next step, like I think he will, this team might be the Steelers might be a team that could really sneak into the playoffs and maybe shock some people. Next, we have KC. I'm not even going to explain why. We already know Kansas City is going to win this one. I don't need to go into details of why. We already know. Next, we have the Denver Broncos. I have the Broncos winning this one. With Sean Payton, I think they'll be a far better team. Russell Wilson, I know, is the biggest concern because him having his horrible year last year. But ultimately, I think this team is good enough. I think Sean Payton will really get this team in the right direction, be much more competitive as they were last year, and they should have no problem taking down the Patriots. Moving to the Week 17 for the Bills. Are the Patriots going to get revenge from going back to Week 7 at home? They lost to the Bills. Are they going to get revenge in Buffalo? No, they won't. For the Bills, in my first video when I first started the series with the Bills, it's going to come down for the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. It's going to come down to Week 17, Week 18 to figure out who's going to win the division. And with this on the line, these 3 teams are going to be as confident as ever. They're going to be as focused as ever. And they're not going to overlook anybody or take any of these games for granted. The Bills will be locked in, and they will find a way to take care of business at home and beat the Patriots. Moving on to the final game to wrap up the season and also to wrap up the final home game against the Jets. Going back to Week 3, like I said, being at New Jersey, playing them, losing. Are they going to get revenge on them? No, they're not. I'm sorry. The Jets are just, once again, going back to what I said for the Bills, with the division on the line. They're going to do everything they can not to mess this up, and they will take full advantage like the Bills and win this one. So basically, getting the gist of it, a polar opposite for the Patriots as opposed to the other three teams. How I had it very close, few losses in between for the other three. For the Patriots, I'm probably way too harsh on them. No bias whatsoever, no anything. I'm just looking at, taking a step back and looking at this as it is, and also how the team is built. I'm just not confident in the Patriots this year. I'm sorry. The biggest concern is just offensively, with more so the relationship with Bill Belichick and Mac Jones. I just don't feel that confident after last year, where it seemed pretty rocky that they didn't have a real offensive coordinator. It seemed like Mac Jones was no doubt visibly upset, and probably behind closed doors wasn't that great either for a relationship. Players were very divided on if they wanted Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. There was talks this year that they might go to Bailey Zappi. I know Belichick even said that he was trying to ship Mac Jones around, trying to trade him. I know the big help that he got him was Bill O'Brien, which I shouldn't even applaud Belichick, because it's kind of common sense to actually get someone who knows offensive side of the ball for an offensive coordinator, as opposed to just taking a defensive coordinator and saying, hey, just call some plays. Like, it's kind of common sense stuff to actually get someone who's qualified for the position. But I think the relationship between Belichick and Mac Jones, I think it's just broken. And during the season, I think it'll really show throughout the stretch, throughout stretches where it's going to just get worse and worse and worse. And ultimately, I believe that this will be Mac Jones' final year. And this could potentially be Belichick's final year, where Robert Kraft might just take a step back and look and say, you know what, I've seen enough. It hasn't worked out. Belichick, I'm sorry. Look at post-Brady era. You haven't done anything. If this is how it goes, this is in the 4 seasons that Brady has been gone, you've only made the playoffs once, and I think it's best to go in a different direction. And I think ultimately, again, if it goes how I believe it will, if I post just saying the record right now, 5-12 is my record for the Patriots. I think that this is going to be this might just be a clean house. Getting rid of everybody, getting rid of Mac Jones, getting rid of Belichick, and with this record, you could probably be contention with Caleb Williams. I know you have the North Carolina quarterback Drake, who's going to be up there, no doubt. So worst case scenario, if he lives up to, of course, how he is projected, he'll probably be a top pick that for the Patriots can go to. But no doubt for a 5-12 record, this could be maybe a silver lining for Patriots fans, because this could be a spot where potentially they could be picking Caleb Williams and getting a generational talent, and starting over with a new quarterback or new coach, hoping more so it'd be an offensive minded coach. But for this one, it's definitely gonna be, I think, a rough year for Patriots fans, but maybe it'll pay off for the long term, potentially getting Caleb Williams in the future. So like I said, just to wrap the season up for the New England Patriots, I have them going 5-12. And to wrap up the AFC East, as I'll put on screen, I have the Bills winning the division 12-5. Second place, I have the New York Jets at 10-7. I have the Miami Dolphins in third place, 10-7, and the New England Patriots 5-12 for the fourth place. Like I said, what I said at the beginning of the video, it's not even close for the Patriots in terms of competing for the division, and certainly not for the playoffs. The AFC is way too stacked, and there's much better built teams, especially offensively, that's going to really push for the wild card, as opposed to this old mindset for Belichick of defensive minded. And the big drawback is just lack of elite talent on this side of the ball. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Just no great pieces on this team, elite offensively at least. And I think ultimately Belichick just has failed Mac Jones. I'm sorry, that's what's going to come down to. Belichick has failed Mac Jones, and it will show this year. But that's going to wrap up the video. I apologize, it was very scattered. I just had a very rough time. We're trying to record this video either I was kept getting bothered or just something would go wrong with my computer. So I apologize if this is very scared and very not as fluid as maybe the other ones are. So I apologize for that. But I just wanted to just get this video done and post it out there. This is my thoughts for the Patriots 2023 season. Like I said, 5-trouble is my prediction. Let me know your thoughts down below on my record. If you think I was too harsh, if you think they're going to do better or worse, let me know down below. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.